We often hear that some individuals are just born different. But Mother Nature has actually taken this idea to a whole new level. Watch this full video without missing because you will be surprised to see the facts. One little baby girl born with a white patch of hair which is precisely like her mum's. The gray patch of hair famously sported by bad boy Sweeney Todd is a condition called pileosis. The mechanics of this genetic mutation are fairly easy. When the melanocytes stop producing melanin, the hair begins growing without the pigment. It can be either hereditary or occur with genetic disorder like piebaldism. 2. Look at the eyes of this kid. He has actually a condition called Waardenburg syndrome. Waardenburg syndrome is an extremely unusual genetic disorder happening in 1 in 40,000 people. It's named after a Dutch ophthalmologist, D.J. Waardenburg, who initially identified the syndrome in 1951. The different colored irises are among the typical signs of Waardenburg syndrome, since it impacts the coloring of hair, skin, and eyes. Other common symptoms of this unusual disorder are modifications in vision and hearing loss. 3. This boy's amazing birthmark. Most of us carry 1 or 2 birthmarks. This human characteristic is so typical that no one truly hesitates about them. The very first birthmarks appear soon after we're born, and they're caused by an overgrowth of blood vessels, melanocytes, and keratinocytes. Some of them fade with time, while others stay for the rest of our lives. Something is clear: they're not caused by mothers doing something wrong during pregnancy. It's a thing of chance. 4. This girl has heterochromia, a genetic masterpiece in most cases. People born with heterochromia, different colored eyes, experience no other symptoms. Nowadays, multicolor eyes are considered as a wacky charm function, and lots of celebrities are using lenses to achieve the look. 5. I believe you'll like this eyes. This young man has albinism, a congenital disorder that's defined by the lack of pigment in the skin, hair, and eyes. 1 in 18,000 to 20,000 individuals has some type of albinism in the U.S. The blue, purple-like color of his eyes in the photo is because of the absence of melanin in the eyes. In some cases, the capillaries show through the iris, and eyes can even look red or pink. 6. My buddy's iris is split in half. The condition is referred to as sectoral heterochromia. It means that only a part, or sector, of the iris of one eye has a various color than the rest of the iris of that eye. The condition is rare and typically does not have any other substantial signs or problems. However, how captivating it is to take a look at. 7. Vitiligo, affecting one side of a male's face. Vitiligo is a long-term condition caused by a lack of melanin, the pigment of skin. It creates spots on the skin and typically takes place on the face, hands, neck, and skin creases. These locations are more vulnerable to sunburn, therefore people are advised to utilize sunscreen with a high SPF element. 8. Zhang Hongming suffers from rare congenital giant pigmented nevus, typically called giant furred moles. Giant furred moles are a genetic gene defect that result in hairy spots of darker skin. They typically appear at birth or start establishing in the first year of a child's life. These dark-colored spots are small in children, however most often they grow along with them. Scientists believe that issues with melanocytes, skin cells that produce melanin which offers skin its color, are to blame for pigmented nevi, plural of mole. The hair that grows from these moles can be brown or even a bluish-black color. 9. Consumer visited a shop and let the owner take an image of her hands that had 6 fingers on each. A recent post released by the Journal of the American Society of Plastic Surgeons specified that 1 in 700,000 people are born with polydactyly. This means that having additional fingers on hands, extra toes on feet, or both are really common limb malformations. And while such look stands apart, some believe it can bring people some useful benefits. A research study run by the University of Freiburg concluded that people with polydactyly have more nimble movement than people with fewer digits. 10. This woman had a condition triggered distichiasis that causes her eyelashes to grow in multiple rows. Distichiasis is an unusual hereditary condition where you have 2 rows of eyelashes. The second row of eyelashes can consist of anywhere from a single lash or a couple of hairs to a full, total set. Usually, this second row has thinner, shorter, and lighter eyelashes. Distichiasis frequently affects all 4 eyelids. Nevertheless, sometimes, people have eyelashes growing from simply one cover or simply the lower covers. People with a second row of eyelashes might not have any extra symptoms, but some are more conscious light, others have irritated corneas or might be susceptible to getting conjunctivitis. 11. Her height is low, only 151 centimeters, however her toes are inexplicably long. This person most likely has arachnodactyly, likewise called spider fingers. This is a condition where a person's fingers and toes are abnormally long and slim, particularly when compared to the palm of the hand and arch of the foot. People can be born with this condition or even develop it later on in life. Some individuals with spider fingers do not have any underlying health issues. Unfortunately, this condition is linked to certain other conditions, such as Marfan syndrome, which makes individuals have long arms, legs, fingers, and toes, flexible joints and scoliosis, and have heart issues. 12. Kid was born with 12 fingers and toes, all fully practical. Here are the baby pictures. This condition is referred to as polydactyly and refers to a person born with extra digits. The name originates from the Greek poly, which implies numerous, and dactylos, which refers to fingers. There are 3 different types of the condition: ulnar, radial, and main. Polydactyly is given through one's family, or it can be a sign of a hereditary condition. 13. His ring and middle fingers are connected. This could be a case of simple syndactyly, which is a medical term for webbed or conjoined fingers and toes. It's amongst the most common malformations and affects 1 in 2,000 to 3,000 kids every year. According to the Children's Health Center of Philadelphia, the condition occurs while a baby is still in the womb. Throughout the 7th to 8th week of an infant's advancement, fingers and toes separate. Strong fingers and toes are essential in early youth when one is rapidly establishing motor abilities. 14. This guy have 2 uvulas. The uvula, the piece of dangling flesh which resembles a teardrop, is a vital part of your mouth. It lubricates the inside and directs nasal secretions to your throat. It's likewise essential for speaking. The uvula moves the soft taste buds to the back of your throat so words and sounds can be articulated well. This case might be a bifid uvula or a cleft uvula, which describes a split or forked uvula. It can trigger seriously nasal-sounding speech and other non-harmful signs. 15. The way this guy's knees bend. Knee hyperextension occurs when a knee joint is forced beyond 180 degrees in one instructions, which is a normal variety. It can happen to anyone, however is quite typical in professional athletes who play contact sports like soccer or football. When one gets consistent effect on the front of the knee, the joint starts extending even more than its regular range. Yoga is said to support knee ligaments by strengthening the muscles. 16. This individual has a thumb with 3 phalanges rather of 2. Triphalangeal thumb (TPT) is a congenital malformation where the thumb has 3 phalanges instead of 2. The additional phalangeal bone can differ in size from that of a little pebble to a size comparable to the phalanges in non-thumb digits. 18. His neck skin is stretchy enough to enable him to suck on it with no hands. Some people are simply born more flexible, while others might carry a real condition. Among them is called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it's a group of disorders that impact the skin, joints, and blood vessels. The overly stretchy skin might bruise easily. EDS is triggered by a glitch in the genes, and the proteins that link the tissue aren't made in the normal way. 19. This woman has double toes. When the embryological cells separate to form toes, the cell has a mistake which causes an additional toe. Some forms of polydactyly can be seen as an absolutely separate, extra toe, however in this case the two toes never ever separated. 20. This guy has an unusual genetic anomaly that triggers his fingernails to grow inverted. He acquired this characteristic from his mother, and she acquired it from her dad. For decades they thought it was just a peculiarity of their ancestral tree, however just recently their newborn daughter evaluated positive for a main immunodeficiency. Changes to the FOXN1 gene cause this together with low T cells and other problems with the thymus. Kids grow out of the immunodeficient side by age 2, however the nails stay like this for life. They're called spoon nails. Thanks for watching.